So there's different ways to make money from serviced accommodation. So there's rent to serviced accommodation, where you're literally renting somebody else's property on a company let and with permission using it as a short-term rental. And then you've got serviced accommodation management. Now, how that differs is where the SA operator isn't actually renting the property from the owner. The SA manager is managing it on behalf of the owner. And the easiest way to think about this is comparing it to where an HMO owner might hand over the property to a letting agent, and the letting agent would manage that property as an HMO. The owner still pays their own bills. The owner would furnish the property, and all the letting agent is going to do is charge a percentage on the revenue, if you like, the rent coming in. And so the difference with SA management is the SA management company would manage the property for the owner as a short-term rental instead, and the owner continues to pay all of their own bills, council tax or business rates in some circumstances. The owner, their utility bills, etc., and the owner still pays to furnish it, and the SA operator charges a percentage on the revenue, either before or after OTA fees. So hold that thought. Then another way of making money from serviced accommodation is from sourcing or deal packaging serviced accommodation. And you can also deal package rent to serviced accommodation. So imagine the SA operator, they've got some rent to SAs already, and they get to a situation where they've got enough rent to SAs. So let's say it's 10 rent to SAs. And that can be, obviously the 10 rent to SAs, there's normally 10 rents and deposits and 10 lots of furniture to source. I know that you can sometimes not need to pay a deposit with rent to SA, and you can lease the furniture. Sometimes the property might already be furnished, but in most instances there's those outlays, okay, to come up with. So let's call it £5,000 per rent to SA. Can be more, can be less. And so also, the person doing the rent to SA, they've got the bills to pay every single month. They've got the rent and all of the utility bills, the council tax or business rates. And so that can be quite a commitment each month, especially when it comes to the winter months. So when we're mentoring people, we say, look, even if you have got the initial capital to do it, it's probably not best to go and get too many rent to SA properties. So we actually say to people, why don't you move into SA management? Now, getting back to my point on deal packaging rent to SAs, what happens is the SA operator, they might get offered another property from an owner who's got a portfolio, and let's say they get another buy-to-let back or something like that, so they offer another rent to SA, or a letting agent offers the SA operator another property, or even the rent to SA person just goes out and does exactly the same thing that they did in order to acquire the first lot of rent to SAs, make offers. So what you can do in that situation is actually package that deal on to somebody who wants a rent to SA, but they don't want to go out there and make offers or network or do any of those things. So in that circumstance, the SA operator can actually charge a packaging fee to somebody else to come in and pay the rent and pay the deposit, furnish the property and pay the ongoing bills. Now, the win-win situation is that the SA operator doesn't have to take on another rent to SA and doesn't have to fund the rent to SA, but also gets paid a packaging fee, let's call it £3,000, in order for somebody else to come in and take that property on the rent to SA. But the SA operator can manage that property on behalf of the investor, because a lot of people, they want their jingly jangly keys photo in order to say they've got an SA, but they don't actually want to manage the property themselves. So that's just a win-win situation right there. And another add-on to that for the SA operator is the SA operator can also charge an onboarding fee to the investor to get the property furnished, and also to arrange for all of the photos to be taken, because when people don't have enough time, busy job or whatever, getting it furnished might seem like, you know, quite a lot of effort. The reality is you can just take the floor plan in and send the floor plan into a furniture company, and the furniture company just deliver the furniture pack, assemble it completely, take away all the rubbish, and then, you know, the next main thing that needs to happen is the photographer needs to come in and take the photos. But you can charge an onboarding fee for that work, because it is actually quite a lot of work for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. And so let's say that's £1,000. So you can be paid £1,000 onboarding fee, a £3,000 sourcing fee, and then ongoing management fees for a rent to SA deal package deal with management on top. So I've just explained there how you can still scale your serviced accommodation business without having too many rent to SAs, which could be a little bit of a little bit too much exposure, especially in the winter months. So hopefully that was useful, everybody. That might have just made a few people sit up and think about how to scale a serviced accommodation business, how to create win-win situations. Let me know what you think. Got any questions, post them in the comments. This video will be going out on lots of other social media platforms, so let me know what you think on those, and I will endeavour to answer your questions. Take care, everybody, and here's to your success in serviced accommodation. Remember, your future needs you. Take care.